Well, our big story this morning for you, all eyes on our state this morning as our immigration law goes before the highest court in the land, the U.S. Supreme Court. It is a day that could change the way undocumented immigrants are treated, not only here in Arizona, but across the nation in other states. The arguments will focus on 4 sections of SB 1070 that were blocked 2 years ago. First, if police can ask a person's immigration status if they suspect that they're here illegally in the country. Second, if police can make an arrest without a warrant if the person committed a crime that could lead to deportation. Third, if it's a crime for undocumented immigrants to find or perform work in our country. And fourth, if non-citizens must carry documents at all times in our state. ABC 15, Steve Irvin is live in the nation's capital covering this very closely for you, breaking down both sides of this debate. Good morning, Steve.
And good morning, Connie. We're just about an hour away now from the beginning of those oral arguments, and I'm about to step inside, and we'll actually have a seat inside to see some of those oral arguments as well. It's only supposed to take about an hour or so, but we are expecting some very pointed questions, particularly about that question of where state law ends and where federal law begins, and exactly what states have the right to do when they're passing these immigration laws. As you're aware, Arizona, not the only state which has passed an immigration law that some say runs afoul of federal law, but that's what justices essentially will decide as their legal question here. And one of the people gathered outside here and aiding in the protest is Danny Ortega. He's a Phoenix attorney. And Danny, I'm sure you probably thought a little bit about what happens after the Supreme Court rules. It's difficult to say how they'll rule. They may strike down the law. There may be sort of a mixed bag one way or another. But you must have a battle plan sort of beyond today.
Well, it's our hope that the court will uphold the lower court's decision, first of all, because we believe that the state is preempted. But the decision that's going to be made in June will have a lot of implications, one way or the other. But our community has to continue to work to change state houses, to change governorships, with people who truly take our community into consideration. And we've got to go across the street here to the Congress of the United States and say to them, you've got to help fix this problem. There must be comprehensive immigration reform. So we've got a lot of work on the political side. Today we're going to deal with the legal side. We hope that the court rules in our favor, but we continue to work.
Certainly the political climate here has changed because of 1070, and we've even seen a bit of a softening of the position of Mitt Romney, who took a pretty hard line on immigration throughout the campaign here just on Monday, saying that he would support a program that might provide visas for some of those who are here illegally. Certainly it's also mobilized the Latino vote. I mean, do you see that as a positive in this process, that because of the debate over this issue, there are a lot more people getting involved in this election?
Well, clearly it's been a wake-up call to the Latino community, and Latinos are registering in numbers today like we've never seen, especially in the state of Arizona. As it relates to the presidential race, they recognize the value that the Latino community brings to their campaigns, and they have to pay attention. And the Republican Party, most recently softening its approach, tells us we matter.
Danny Ortega, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. And of course, we're going to be watching it all for you later today. We're going to have live reports coming up for you starting on ABC 15 now at 4, 5, and 6, and 10. And of course, anytime on ABC15.com, guys.
And Steve, you showed us a photo. You sent a photo to us of the big line of people wanting to go in to hear this. And I can hear from the buzz around you, the row, media row as we call it, is very active at this hour as well. So a lot of tension across the nation on this as well.
Yeah, there certainly has been, and that's one of the actual reasons that the Supreme Court has taken up this argument here. It's because not only Arizona, but 5 other states have passed similar laws, and some 30 other states or so are actually looking at legislation that's very similar to SB 1070. The Supreme Court typically doesn't decide on just one state issue. They tend to look at whether this affects issues nationwide, and clearly they see a nationwide issue here and a real legal issue to be able to tackle as well. As far as the people outside here, there are tons of protesters who've already gathered out here, and a line clear around the building for people who are hoping to get one of those 60 or so public seats that are inside. A lot of them got here very early in the morning, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just to be one of the first people in that line. So tons of interest in this case, and certainly all eyes on Washington today.
And Steve, I know you have one of those coveted seats as well. We look forward to your reports later this afternoon as well. Thank you for joining us from Washington, covering that closely.